Russia continues to deny its troops were responsible for war crimes in Bucha, as we just heard there from Yolo. The Kremlin says the allegations are a monstrous forgery aimed at denigrating the Russian army. Stephen Cole spoke to Russian Federation Senator Konstantin Kosachev.
The bodies, the crops would have changed, for just physical reasons. This is number one. And secondly,
but that's been disproved by pathologists who have examined the evidence.
Just imagine a city of 30,000 people and so many relatives to these killed people, leaving them outside, not trying to get them in, not trying to bury them, not trying to assist people who had been wounded. For me, this is absolutely impossible to imagine. Just let them lie in the street in 1 or 2 weeks? Come on. This is absolutely excluded. Absolutely excluded. These people were killed 1 or 2 days before this filming was made, during the period when the Russian forces were already out, had been out.
Well, that's not according to the AFP, who've been showing images of dead bodies on the 2nd of April. And there are videos of corpses circulating that I've seen on social media on the 1st of April.
The Russian forces left Bucha on the 30th of March.
The Defense Ministry, as you know, claimed that while Bucha was under Russian control, a quote, "Not a single local resident has suffered from any violent action." That's patently untrue, isn't it?
Well, I have not read a single piece of information confirming any reaction from local people living in Bucha and telling the world on the 1st of April, the 2nd of April, the 31st of March, anything about this tragedy. It did not exist on the 31st of March, the 1st of April, probably not the 2nd of April. And this is exactly what we keep talking about. This provocation was arranged later on in order to blame the Russians.
You're in a very difficult position as a diplomat to see Russia so increasingly isolated from the rest of the world. Do you feel Russia is standing alone?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I know perfectly well that the United Nations consists of 193 countries. I know perfectly well that just 40 countries plus practice sanctions against Russia. 40 countries out of 193 is less than 1/5. It is not the international community. It's not the majority. And Russia definitely does not feel isolated. The feeling of an isolated Russia may appear only if you look at Russia from Washington or the Brussels, for example. But we have so many other places which are different from the Western world and which are still balanced, which are still very much concerned about the NATO expansion, which are very much concerned about the attempts of the Western world to create a unipolar construction of this world. So definitely Russia is not isolated, Russia is definitely not alone, and Russia definitely will not give up because some 40 countries see the future of the world differently.